All right, I want to get this audio. A burger is literally hamburger, which is ground up beef. I mean, I guess you could do a chicken burger if it was ground up. Is a chicken patty ground up chicken? I guess. I want to make it more of an earworm. Even more earwormy. Like that. I want it to be barely audible. Other countries call chicken sandwiches burgers? Okay, I mean, I'm willing to concede that. That's a possibility out there. I gotta say, I really enjoy these parts of the stream where I'm talking to you guys and the stream hasn't really started yet. The gain is enough for me to sell. We'll buy back if it goes down. Well, I mean, I might agree with you there. I mean, look, I'm up. Where the hell is my phone? I am up 67% on one purchase, and I am up 81% on another purchase. I knew a guy that was somewhat successful financially, and his motto was, you can't go broke making a profit. So, I mean, that was good for him. The only issue with him is he thought he was a lot smarter than he was, and I think he lost a lot of money on blackjack. Doesn't matter how much money you have, a gambling problem will handle all of that. That'll take care of all of your money problems. In that, you will not have any more money. Blackjack's, I mean, look, for gambling, at least, you know, there are worse games to lose your money on. I mean, he could have been playing the slots. I mean, that's just dumb. Blackjack, there's at least theoretically a small amount of player control there. Why is every public company required to grow, and is the same true for privately owned companies? Yeah, I mean, depending on what country you're in, I believe there are laws in the US where if you issue stocks, you have to operate in good faith to try and improve the quality of said stock and earnings. Privately owned companies, I mean, outside of normal employment laws, there's no requirement. I mean, you could sink your own company if you want. It's only really, if you're issuing public stocks that you start getting, like, under the purview. And I'm not, you know, I am not a high tier finance guy. Let me start recording this. What are my credentials? I have a master's in economics. It was earned a while ago. I worked in banking. I know how to read a balance sheet. I play a lot of Monster Hunter. I'm mostly an internet clown. But, you know, I love Capcom. So, anything that they release is fascinating to me, even if I don't directly play it. Sometimes they release things and I just don't engage in it. They released that fighter collection. I didn't play it. They released that, like, beat 'em up collection. I would actually enjoy that if I was playing it with friends, but I just wouldn't enjoy playing it solo. So Capcom yesterday, I guess, maybe, had their annual stockholder meeting. They released a number of documents. There's a lot of them. You just type in Capcom Investor Relations in Google and get all these slides and everything that we're going to go through today. And there's a number of them. So what we're going to be going through first, and primarily, was I invited? I believe even if you have one stock, but if you have at least 100 stock, you are almost definitely allowed to attend the meeting. I do not have yet. Yeah, I mean, I'm small time. Like, I don't even have 1,000 shares. I almost have 1,000 shares. I'm very close to having 1,000 shares, but I don't technically own 1,000 shares. I am not a majority stockholder. Majority stockholder it's like a Japanese bank trust. Chase Bank is actually like a number two or number three majority stockholder. The majority stockholders in Capcom are actually no longer even the Sugimoto family. It's very interesting. There are other financial institutions that have purchased the stock, and so let's go back. Let's go all the way back. Back to the beginning. So, almost every company that has ever existed starts with one person doing something until they can hopefully make some money. Very rarely they will go public with just an idea. I don't think that happens very often. But when they want to grow a lot, they issue stocks, and you could buy the stocks to give them money so that they can grow. In return, you get to own a percentage of the company. You actually end up becoming an owner in the company. It's crazy. It's like trading cards, but that's what this is for. So over many years, Capcom has issued stock. People have bought the stock, giving them money to grow. And then whenever Capcom has a profit, like most companies, they pay a dividend. So just by having a share, like me, they give you money. I've been paid by Capcom several times already. As we will get into, I'm about to get paid a lot more because this marks, I believe, the 40th year anniversary for Capcom. It's pretty cool. They've been around for 40 years. These are my stock analysis glasses. I wear them because I'll look a little smart. I mean, I do wear glasses, but I am wearing them so I look smart. So this is a big year for Capcom. This is a good year for Capcom. And so what we're looking at right now is kind of like the simplified, consolidated slide deck. This is probably what they showed specifically at their stockholders meeting that took place yesterday. Should I invest in Capcom? I don't know what the laws are regarding me, whether you should buy or not buy Capcom. I just think, like, of all the video game companies that I know of, outside of, I guess, like, MiHoYo, I don't know if you can buy MiHoYo stock, but Capcom really knows how to make video games. They're like the last company I know of that exists outside of, I guess, Nintendo. But Nintendo, I feel like, is probably at least at value, or if not overvalued. FromSoft, I just don't think FromSoft is at the same production speed as Capcom. I agree with you. FromSoft makes very good games, and their games will always sell well, and they'll always make a profit. I just don't know that they're capable of scaling up to the point where they can create as much. Capcom's got like an entire industry, an entire organizational structure with which they have really figured out the sauce of making a lot of good games on a regular basis. I would worry a lot about FromSoft's ability to permanently generate games of their quality, because what if Miyazaki gets sick? What if he wants to retire? What if he decides to leave and start another company for whatever reason? I feel like he's really holding up that entire company. I'm going to get your NDA pulled from you, Freakmoth. You're no longer going to be allowed to do any play testing for Capcom. So, they're going to be talking a little bit about their plans for next year. They're going to be talking a little bit about what sold this year. There's a couple charts that I found very interesting, specifically reoccurring game sales. So you can go to the Platinum sales page on Capcom's website and see the total unit sales per title, but they actually break down on a yearly basis the amount of titles that have sold in each category. So I found this very interesting. So first thing, they're expecting video game stuff to grow. I'm assuming consumer is like normal consoles. PC Online is obviously PC. This is where they are. And then mobile content. this might be a little scary for you. They're actually expecting PC content to shrink and mobile markets to grow by over 10 to 15%. And they're also still expecting for game consoles to grow. So I find this interesting that they expect PC sales to shrink, because I think they are finding a lot of uplift on their previous category. All right, hold on a second. I got to really improve the quality of this stream right now. Okay, here we go. That's going to be a lot better. You know, I think things like the Steam Deck, things like other portable PC consoles, like that whole revolution is happening right now. And I feel like it might change the trajectory a little bit. You know, we still have to wait and see. You think MOBAs and consoles are better for Capcom? I mean, the mobile market is huge, you know, and there's no question about that. I mean, it's everybody has a phone. Like, you've got a barrier to entry for video games, right? You have to get a gaming PC, and God knows, even the most recent titles, they don't even run on a 4090. You can't even play Jedi Survivor or whatever, Jedi 2 or whatever it is. Consoles, I think, continue to sell well. Like PlayStation 5s, like, are still selling like crazy. Would portable like Steam Deck Switch be mobile? No, those would, I think, those would be considered consumer. I think a Steam Deck would be considered PC. Wild Hearts. So, you know, when you're investing time and development into a title, you know, right now, I mean, you know, I don't blame companies for continually putting more money into mobile content. But as we'll see, the majority of revenue Capcom gets is from the console / PC areas, which is good for us because I don't want to play Monster Hunter designed to be played with a touchscreen. I don't want that to be like my main Monster Hunter. Will I take it as like a side Monster Hunter? I'll take that. But I want there to always be like a main thing. And I think Capcom recognizes that you want to have like these anchor titles that then spread out and grow other things. This is their plan. This is what they've had for their operating income. So net income is after everything else. You can see they've dramatically, you know, increased their net income. Their actual like overhead, it's gone up by like a little bit, but nowhere near the amount of actual income they're making. I mean, it's actually amazing. You know, it's like you're making more money, but you aren't spending that much more money to make it. And I think we can attribute a lot of this, and I think we get into some graphs later on, you know, that really kind of like show income year by year, going back, I think, even to the 90s. I think 93 was the one year Capcom suffered like a net loss, but there was like 2015, they almost lost money. I mean, you could see, I mean, this is really close. I mean, this is, I mean, that's really bad, but you have to think about like what happened in 2015. There was like Monster Hunter Stories, I think. It was Monster Hunter Generations or Monster Hunter Cross or something like that. I don't think Resident Evil 7 had been released. They were just coasting on Street Fighter 4 income at that point. Resident Evil 6 maybe had been released somewhat recently. When was Resident Evil 6 released? And Resident Evil 6 is actually, that was 2012. So like, they hadn't released a Resident Evil, like a real Resident Evil, in years. And they hadn't yet released Resident Evil 7. So that was a really bad time. I mean, they were clearly floundering a bit in the water, and Ryozo Sugimoto hadn't yet started to really direct the company towards making things good. You know, I mean, if you play a lot of the old Capcom titles, I mean, you play anything from like the 8 and 16-bit generations, it's like there's a certain level of Capcom polish that you just don't really find in almost any other game at that point. And that's something that they take as a really major point of pride now. Okay, hold on a second. There's a lot going here. So, you know, I find it interesting. I remember reading on an investor report a couple years ago that they're very heavy on esports. Like they really think esports is going to be like a really large part of their income stream coming up. I'm doubtful on that. But you know, if they're willing to keep putting out those $1 million prize pools, maybe. Esports is Olympic now. You can, go target shooting in an empty map in Fortnite. I think esports are a great companion to marketing a title. I don't think there's any money in it. Is that why they made the dinosaur game? We're going to see pretty soon that the dinosaur game, and it's why like I'm not 100% negative on you selling your stock, but right now, dinosaur game is a big part of this upcoming fiscal year. They're a little nervous. They're expecting Exoprimal to do a lot of carrying. We can see a ton of unit sales. We can see digital units have almost completely replaced physical sales. So, you know, storefronts take, I think, somewhere between like 25 and 30% of, and maybe even, yeah, 25 or 30% is, I think, the digital split. Retail, I think, is even more. So a big part of this operating income and net income going up, I think, is probably, I mean, you could see there's almost a direct correlation between what percentage of the units are going through digital. They just get a lot more net profit, you know? So we can see where Capcom is the most popular. Very popular in Brazil. I know Brazil loves Monster Hunter. Any Brazilians in chat right now? Any Brazilians in chat that love Monster Hunter right now? Germany? Is that them right there? That's got to be them. China, actually. Buying a lot. A significant amount. Latin America, in general, loves Monster Hunter. I mean, you can see it's a, you know, for some reason, they're not reaching the African market. I don't know what country this is in the middle of Africa, but you guys got to step it up, man. Italy, Sag. No, they're there. They're like in that shade. They're not nothing. This is Russia. Russia's pretty popular. Is that Chad? I don't know. Okay. This is maybe one of the most interesting slides in this whole thing, because I just find it so interesting to see what titles continue to sell. And they start it with Resident Evil 7. I mean, almost every year. I mean, look at this. In 2022, like, it went up to 180 units sold. 10,000 units. So that's like 1.8 million sold just in 2022. Yeah, I mean, the Village came out, so they probably ran a bunch of sales on Resident Evil 7 and everyone picked it up. World continues to sell a lot. I mean, it's at almost 20 million units sold. Close. Just a ton of sales. And I think they're going to show, I think they show like the series breakdowns. I think it's on the final slide. And like, you know, these games are done. They're released. They just sit as data on some server somewhere. You don't know if that's fair considering Capcom games are almost always in stealth or are going to sell good. I mean, you're right. I mean, you know, how much money did Resident Evil 7 Biohazard make in 2022 versus 2018? 2018, it was probably barely on sale, maybe $40, maybe $40 or $50. In 2022, I mean, I'm sure it's going on sale for 20, down to 14. Okay. So yeah, I mean, you know, the net income is less, but at the same time, what's the burden on the developer? I mean, everything from here on out is just profit. You know, if you make your costs back in the first year, I mean, this is just continual net profit as they continue to release titles that are up there, you know. It's pretty great. Interesting that you pointed out 7 consecutive years of 1 million. Monster Hunter World, unfortunately, is dropping below less than 1 million sales per year. Now, that being said, I think anybody that would buy Monster Hunter World has bought Monster Hunter World. You know, at a certain point, you got to sell it for like $5. You know? You know, you have a couple people that are just going back later on and buying Iceborne, but you'll see mostly there's people probably buying the bundle. You bought it thrice? Me too. Resident Evil 2 doing great, almost exactly. Interesting, it's sold less than RE7. This probably had quite a bit to do with why RE8 went first person. Isn't that interesting? Because, I mean, obviously, RE3, even though actually it sold almost the exact same on release, and it's trending about as well as RE2 did. That's fascinating. RE3 got destroyed in the press when it came out. People hated it. They said it's too short. They remove Gravedigger, so it's like, it's a bad game. But it's almost neck to neck in at least initial sales. The tail end isn't as much. And by now, I'm sure it's going for probably like $10, $15. To be fair, they did just kind of let the multiplayer mode on that die. Rise is disgusting. So when you look at, you know, permanent sales of Monster Hunter versus Resident Evil, Resident Evil is Capcom's best-selling franchise. But just by the amount of sales that are going on, and then you can imagine the amount of DLC that's getting sold, like, Monster Hunter is 100% the golden goose right now. You know, it's sold more than RE7 in 2 years. Than RE7 has sold since 2017. And it's probably sold... I don't know. Does RE7 even have DLC? I don't think it even has DLC. Now, mind you, a lot of this is probably double and or triple dippers. There might even be a quad dipper out there somewhere. Village, the best-selling Resident Evil game on launch ever? That's 6 million units sold? That's crazy. Sunbreak, I mean, it did okay. I mean, it sold 5 million units. You know, I mean, it technically, Sunbreak sold more on release than Iceborne did. That's messed up. How is that possible? Sunbreak sold more than base Rise in the first year. It did. That's wild, man. That's really wild. I'm thinking, I mean, if you fall... They want the Rise cycle to have sold more than World? God, they would love that. you think about how much cheaper it must have been to develop Rise than World. I mean, it's so much money. I mean, this to me does say that we can expect another mainline release next year. Am I becoming more rich, Capcom shareholder? They increased the dividend by another 10 yen per share. So yes. Right? So World, you know, anchor title, expansion, you know, skip a fiscal year expansion, then immediately anchor title, skip a year, next expansion. I think it's got to be in 2024. It has to be. If they want to continue this level of growth. It says cumulative unit sales. It doesn't say anything about DLC. Oh, I did math. So somebody earlier was questioning how well Capcom treats its employees. It's a valid question. And I did math on average compensation. And it comes down to basically this. So they have, I did it for 2023. They have 3,043 employees. The average employee compensation is $61,388 US dollars. For comparison, the average English teacher, foreign English teacher in Japan makes about 30,000. And that's considered a reasonable salary. That's not a bad salary for Japan. Like, you will do well in the city of Osaka if that's the average salary. Now, obviously, some people are probably going in under that. I wouldn't be surprised if there's people that are starting at 40 or 45,000, and then on the higher end, you start getting paid even more than that. A year, it's about 30,000 a year. Yeah, I mean, it's something like 2.5 million yen a month if you're an English teacher. But, I mean, you can find an apartment to live in for, I mean, 500,000 yen would get you a decent place. So, you'd be okay there. I thought companies used median rather than average. Well, what I did is I took salaries plus bonuses, converted it, and then I divided it by the number of employees. So I'm not the company. This isn't Capcom doing that. I mean, they have it here. I just did separate math to this one. That's all. And some people got 334 stock, 334 shares. That's nice. So they're all going to get bonuses now based on profit, which is pretty nice. I mean, that's a little bit like profit sharing. They improved benefits for your spouse. It's pretty nice. Oh, they're looking to hire more foreigners. And they're helping their employees learn English and or Japanese. Oh, that's pretty cool. They have meetings. This is a big deal. The whole reason why Dead Rising became a hot mess was because they took on an American company and they just didn't talk enough. And then Dead Rising 3 happened, and then Dead Rising 4 happened, and now there's no more Dead Rising. Although there's rumors that there will be another Dead Rising soon. So talking about earnings per share and increased dividends, there's a special thing we're going to look at later, but they're increasing the size of the dividend. All right, so here's the amount of money that they made. I don't know how they're making so much money from their arcade and amusements. It's so bizarre to me. But it's not nothing. But you can see the majority of it, is in the digital contents. I'm assuming that's just including digital game sales. Chinko's that big? I mean, I guess maybe you get a share of it? I have no idea how that works out. Package sales must be what they call, like, the retail units versus digital sales. I mean, it's almost 4-to-1. This must be Tekken? Isn't there, like, Tekken? Isn't there, like, a Street Fighter mobile game? I'm trying to think, what are all the titles that Capcom has? It probably sucks. I don't know. I mean, profit margins continue to go up. Okay. All right. This is the big slide. They have to be keeping something in the chamber. Like, there's no other explanation, because right now, they are expecting to sell more units, mostly worldwide. They're actually predicting a downward trend in Japan. Oh, am I a little yeah. Which increasingly in digital. So this is probably going to increase their profit margin. They're really expecting their back catalog to carry it. Street Fighter 6 and Exo Primal, as of right now, are the only two new titles that they're expecting to continue to hold up the back catalog. Street Fighter 6, I think, is going to sell a lot, but it's rather, when you look at this, like when you look at this, like I don't see Street Fighter up here at all. I mean, obviously it's not Street Fighter 4. It's not Street Fighter 5. You know, Capcom has made and released competitive multiplayer other titles before. Umbrella Corps? That's like, you can buy it. You can't even play it anymore. It's PvP only. So it's, did I skip it? It's a little concerning. Street Fighter 6, I think, will absolutely be the best fighting game this generation. And with a $1 million prize pool, there might be people that'll pick it up that wouldn't pick it up otherwise. But I just don't see it as a Monster Hunter, which is crazy everywhere, but really in Japan, or Resident Evil, which is crazy everywhere, but especially in the US and other Western territories. So there, in my mind, like, there has to be another Monster Hunter coming out in the next fiscal year, if they have any hope of being able to have any sort of an uplift. Which, you know, I mean, it just has to come out before March of next year, and that's very likely. It's definitely possible. You know, we're getting the final title update. Is it June? When is the final title update? Is that June or July? June. Okay. So it's next month is the final title update. And like, that's it. They're not even calling it a title update. They're calling it bonus update. They didn't put Mega Man on here? We're going to talk about Mega Man. We're definitely going to talk about it. So I think there has to be Monster Hunter Sex in the next fiscal year. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's going to be final title update in June. Then you can get an announcement at Tokyo Game Show, which is, let's get the exact date on that. September 21st? End of September. Okay. So June, July, August, obviously no problem. And no, I'm telling you right now, gotcha. It's going to be end of September. So they can announce it. It will presumably be ready for them to start spinning up. It's going to be the worst game. Spinning up the advertisements for it. And they don't normally like to do a Christmas release. I would expect for it to launch between the end of January and obviously the end of March. I would bet closer towards the end of March. And it's in a good time frame, because it's going to be, you know, I mean, they have like another 5 or 6 months to develop it. We're towards the end of the current console generation. Or at least, you know, we're getting there. I mean, it's been a long time. It doesn't feel like it. But, you know, and there's not going to be that many more games that are currently developed exactly for the current console generation, I don't think. Trying to see the exact year. Wasn't it like November of 2020? Maybe if you're lucky, it'll release without high rank. That'd be so cool if it released without high rank and it was just low rank for like 6 months. I don't hate it. I don't hate that. I'm expecting next Monster to skip Xbox and PlayStation 4. You know, with the RE engine, they can do some pretty crazy stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if they made it so that the base end, it could still run on them. You can play Resident Evil 4 runs on an Xbox One, right? I'm pretty sure it can. Hold on. I'm checking. No. It is only playable on the series. Okay, I think we're finally at the point where they're not going to support the last gen consoles. And I've been saying for a while now, I think the big reason for that is it's not, I don't know that it'll necessarily be like full open world, but I really think there's going to be like a wingsuit. And I don't know why I think that. But there's going to be like a wingsuit and you're going to be able to fly your wingsuit towards a monster. You guys can come back and clip this whenever you need to. So they have reasonable expectations that they can still continue to sell the catalog of their older games. Like the Glider Mantle from World, yeah. Building, I don't know. I could see there maybe being like some minor building. I mean, Monster Hunter's had that for a while. You make the improvements and then you get more stuff. Why not make that visual? Upgrade, next level Glider Mantle. Monster Hunter Now coming out in September. Love to play that right now. They like Mega Man Network. This just came out and they're saying it's selling well. Exoprimal, Street Fighter 6. So they're planning for a big summer. I think Exoprimal is going to be okay. I just like, as a full price title, but also competitive PvP, I just feel like that's hard to do. I feel like the rule, like the contract in gaming has to be, if you sell a battle pass, it has to be free to play. Or it has to be such compelling content that you wouldn't even care if there was a battle pass or not. But if there's a battle pass, like, especially if it's a competitive game, like, You need people playing your game. You don't want to have any barriers of entry. I don't think we're gonna spend a lot of time talking about arcades, other than like they're assuming. I mean, I guess with Street Fighter they're gonna see more money. Sea of Thieves has a battle pass. I mean, the game is basically free. Hope they combine normal Monster Hunter with stories. I hope it has the art design of stories. I think they call all of their gambling machines amusement equipment machines. I don't know. I don't really know what's going on here. They've got a Sengoku Bazara Giga coming out in August of 2023. Oh, we don't have to get into that. So here's where they're talking about like other businesses. So this is like movies and like TV, as well as esports. I just don't know how you make money from esports. They're planning on losing money from esports. They're like, we're going to lose money. Ads? They're planning on losing money. When is the sequel for the Monster Hunter movie coming? It's like, it's a big part. We got to go down here. It's a big part on this slide. What the hell is that? Oh, that's a Lunagron. So in any case, they're investing big on esports. They continue to license out their properties. There's a lot of these Resident Evil CG movies. You want to see Mia Jovovich and Rise graphics? All right, so I always thought this was stupid in business, but you're always supposed to be like, we have to create a mission, a vision, and a goal. So they want to create superior content. I believe they do. Create stable revenue. I believe they have. I don't know what ESG is. Work to build equality and eliminate poverty so games can be enjoyed wholeheartedly? What? Contribute to building a richer society, making smiles and moving hearts across the globe. Capcom, I love you. How are you eliminating poverty? What does that mean? What are you doing? You're making video games, man. Cultural poverty? I mean, it's a good game. They make good game series. Yeah, I mean, Vampire Dami Mommy definitely will grow a player base. Okay, this is just like, they gave the marketing intern too much freedom here. I'm trying to... I didn't analyze this slide a lot ahead of time. I think we're good. This is Kogath posted a tweet on this slide, which I mean, it's okay. I mean, it just says like they're planning to expand the Monster Hunter brand. Now, I don't know what this means. Rework the brand. There's Monster Hunter now. Cafe collaborations, that's obviously almost entirely Japan specific. They've done some of their concerts. Monster Hunter Patchy slot? That already exists. Appeal to families with new games. I think that's like their entire philosophy behind the Stories series. Esports events, like I don't think they're really, maybe they are planning on bringing back Monster Hunter esports. I really don't know. We saw this creative studio in the most recent was it a Monster Hunter Direct title update thing? Hold on. Enhance. the RE engine. Okay. Does that look good to make video games in? I have no idea. I can't zoom in anymore. It's the most it'll zoom in. So yeah, this is a big reason why I like Capcom as a company, and also Capcom as something that I invest money in, is because you really can tell a difference almost all the time when you're playing a Capcom made title. It just feels like they just take a little bit more time to actually release a polished game. Now, Rise was an exception, a notable exception, but it's like the exception that proves the rule, you know. It stood out. RE Engine must be great for them. Now it's looking like an exception. I think it's a good thing. That's something that they licensed out to Niantic. I mean, that just makes good business sense. Niantic must also believe in Capcom as much as Capcom believes in them. So yeah, this is interesting. So, out of all these titles, Mega Man is by far the oldest, but it doesn't even get a picture. And really, when you think about it, and again, there's a difference between units sold and like money made out of arcades. They must have made so much money from Street Fighter over the years in the arcades. They must have sold so many like Street Fighter 2 cabinets. It's crazy. But, you know, like Street Fighter is like a footnote to Resident Evil. And like, like the Monster Hunter series, like if they just like partnered with somebody other than Nintendo and like kept Monster Hunter multi-platform, and they were releasing worldwide on like the PlayStation 3 and I guess like on the Xbox One and PlayStation before World came out, like, can you imagine? I have to believe there's an alternate timeline where Monster Hunter is sold more than Resident Evil at this point in time. How's that copium? Like the largest console release that we had in the West since Monster Hunter 1 was Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. And then it was World. It was just a series of times when there was just a lot of questionable business decisions being made, you know? Somebody saw the easy cash that they took from Nintendo, and they took what was a really expanding series. Now, I mean, granted, like, in Japan specifically, going onto the 3DS was probably the right decision. That was probably the right decision, but that was, I don't know. I mean, maybe Monster Hunter was too hard of a game. Every time they released a game, you had a Western game journalist being like, this game's too difficult. It's too hard. I couldn't beat the monster, and when I beat the monster, I didn't get the rewards I needed. I spent 2 hours finding 10 unique mushrooms. Whatever. We're here now. There's a lot of numbers. I mean, they're expecting way more money next year compared to this year. And there's no way, because like they wouldn't make these things, because like you don't want to set stockholder expectations and then fail to deliver. It's like it's gotta happen, man. They're growing the number of employees. Like they're still growing. They're growing every year. What are they planning? Okay, hold on. I've got more stuff. I don't think this is the one. Yeah, no, this is not the one. This is not Twitch ready. Okay. So this is long. We can't go through all of this. This is 104 pages. This is like, you would have seen this slide deck at at the stockholders meeting, this would be in the little packet for you to go through. We'll skim it. The very last page shows the consolidated number of sales of every title. Hold on. I think there's a page that shows profitability year over year. I want to show like the 2000, or was it 1993 and like 2015? Huh? Is it here? No, almost there. There's Kenzo Sugimoto. By the way, out in California making wine. That's pretty much what he does right now. That is Ryozo's older brother, Haruhiro Sugimoto. Presumably, when their father retires, Ryozo might be made COO, but he says for the most part he likes making video games. He doesn't want to be in the organization as much. I don't know what the hell I was looking at. I could have sworn... Hold on, I'm just going to go to the very end. Okay, I was thinking of another slide. Oh, there we go. Okay. So you can kind of see this. When do I think a next monster to be released? Before March of next year. Based on everything that we've seen. So you can see... Oh my god, they claim Dragon's Dogma has had 13 titles. But you can get a very good idea of, like, on average, how much is each title selling in the hundreds or millions. You know what I mean? And Monster Hunter is easily punching above 1 million per title. But you get some games like Mega Man. They've had 158 titles. And it's only sold 37 million. What are the 13 Dragon's Dogma titles? I mean, there might have been a mobile game. There was the original, there was the expansion, and then there was the re-release across a number of different platforms. I think they're being very generous with their naming convention. They count Mega Man on DOS? They probably do. Yeah. They still have a section for Commando in 1942. You know, Street Fighter, again, they've had 1 million different editions. God, like Breath of Fire. It's like people are like, when are we going to get a new Breath of Fire? I mean, it's sold 3 million units. Ace Attorney is maybe the most baffling to me. Granted, it probably doesn't cost that much to make and release an Ace Attorney. I mean, it's essentially just a visual novel. So it probably doesn't cost that much. I mean, but like Resident Evil, like, okay, but obviously it's doing what it needs to do. Punch for punch, actually, Dead Rising is really not bad. Neither is Devil May Cry. Technically, Commando sells more units per title than Ace Attorney does. DMC actually looks pretty okay to me. Because a lot of those are re-releases. Like, there's so many re-releases of Devil May Cry. But, like, we'll never see another Dino Crisis. It's surprising that we're getting Exoprimal, which is very nearly in the Dino Crisis bucket. I mean, the question is like, will we someday see an Exoprimal box? No mention of, was it Pragmata or whatever it is? So there's a lot of stuff to go in here if you really wanted. But big thing. Oh, by the way, they did mention I'm just going to read this whole thing. No lost planet on that chart. I didn't see it. I don't think it sold that badly, but it's not there. It's on the platinum list. Lost Planet, 6.4 million. Better than Dragon's Dogma. They must count EX Troopers in that. So we have found out what Capcom Town is going to be. Capcom Town is going to be a website that is going to be like a virtual museum, but, and I don't even understand how this is going to work. I think they're going to let you play some of the classic titles for free, like in your browser. It's either that or they're going to have a bunch of classic titles that you can spend money on. Can we zoom in? Enhance. Enhance. So, Devil May Cry. That is Nemesis. CMD Museum. I'm assuming that's Resident Evil. Here's Doc Stalkers. That's Ace Attorney. Final Fight. Devil Joe eating a little Mega Man guy. E Honda at an onsen. More Street Fighter stuff. Little game section. Hunter cooking meat. Big Monster Hunter ship. Here's the Capcom headquarters with more Mega Man. Election venue. With, I think that's the Senran Kagura. Not Senran Kagura. Sengoku Bazara. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Guys out front of that. Thinking of another game. Yep. So, main thing is, there was, we're at our 40th anniversary for Capcom. I guess it's saying 40th anniversary and a commemorative thing. They were originally going to give a 30 yen dividend. They increased it by another 10 yen. So what a dividend is for every share in the company that you have, they pay you. So if you have 1,000 shares, you get 40,000 yen. Which is like, not quite $400. It's probably like $300. That's not bad. It's not nothing. You could probably, yeah, I mean, you definitely get a secondhand couch for $300. So main takeaways, they definitely have, it has to be a Monster Hunter because it's not going to be a Resident Evil. They definitely have a Monster Hunter in the chamber for next year because there's no way you want to have Exoprimal and Street Fighter 6 lifting up what is going to be, in theory, your best performing year ever. Absolutely. I would get your dividends, and then if you want to sell. But I mean, you know, I am not a stock professional. I'm not going to claim, like I said, I've got a master's in economics. I'm not a complete idiot, but I can't analyze it completely, but I don't see how they're going to fail. You know, they're diversifying mostly wisely in other areas. I think that the biggest risk that they have is, you know, the mobile market. I do agree with this analysis. The mobile market is going to continue to grow. And historically, they have not done a very good job of capturing the mobile market. You know, there's this, I think, a stereotype of Capcom and mobile games where, like, they put them out to dry, put them out to pasture after 6 months. And you know, this is going to be the fastest growing segment, you know. I think PC will at least hold steady, if not grow. I do see consoles continuing to grow. But I do see mobile going faster than anything else. And that's really where you want to at least have, you know, compelling, probably, I mean, the free-to-play model is just the way you want to go with mobile. You know, you want to have, I mean, just look at MiHoYo. I mean, I don't think anyone does it better. Does anyone do it better than them? Candy Crush did for a while. 10-cent stocks? Maybe. Who owns MiHoYo? Can you even buy MiHoYo stock? I don't think so. It's a Chinese-owned company. Buying stock won't guarantee Kafka E1. I may not even go for Kafka anymore. Well, I'll go for her E0. No, they're not publicly listed. You know who owns it? Yeah, I mean, China, man, they got it. We own MiHoYo? Hell yeah, hold on. Whenever I just type in YouTube on this computer, like literally the first thing that pops up. No, I use Sampo now. He's in my main overworld team. Dan is only there for very specific runs in the simulated universe. I don't overvalue Dan at all. He's just not good at breaking things. He needs a lot of setup to be good. Whereas Sampo is great from the first moment. And now that I got this other light cone, Welt does more damage to things that have wind shear on them. So now they work even better together now. You copium all you want. So yeah, video games. So like I said, my investments have gone up in Capcom like 70 and 80% over like maybe like a year and a half. It's crazy, dude. Sampo later falls off. Not true. You just don't know how to build him. Did I get my dividend paid? Oh, that's so cool. I got my dividends automatically reinvesting, I guess. I didn't realize that. That's great. That's exactly what I want. It's going up, man. Spend dividend, talk about... No, I'm just buying more Capcom stock. See, I mean, I don't know. I mean, do I take questions now? Like, this isn't meant to be like a lecture or anything like that. What's Capcom? Only the best investment I've ever made in my life. I was looking for a chart I saw earlier. It was showing profitability per year. And there was an area in 2015 I really wanted to talk about, but I can't find it. ChatGPT can't... I mean, you could see this. They definitely sucked in 2015. ChatGPT won't comment on stocks. Can I explain the etymology of the name Capcom? It was capsule computers. Oh, here we go. How bad will it be if Exoprimal flops? I think they're projecting Exoprimal to flop. Why did they call it capsule computers? I'd have to look it up. It had something to do with, like, I mean, he was making arcade games, and, like, there was, like, those little capsule machines, presumably. I don't know. Let me see if I can look it up. The name Capcom is a clipped compound of capsule computers, a term coined by the company for the arcade machines it manufactured in its earlier years. Designed to set themselves apart from personal computers that were becoming widespread. Capsule alludes to how Capcom likened its game software to a capsule packed to the brim with gaming fun, and a company's desire to protect its intellectual property with a hard outer shell, preventing illegal copies and inferior imitations. You know, interestingly enough, Capcom goes very hard over the years of protecting its arcade machines. Like, there were always these big warning screens when you started up a Capcom arcade game. And yet, in the modern era, they're very permissive of people to modify their games. What happened in 1995 on the chart? I think they were really coasting super hard on Street Fighter. And right around 1995, they probably had overinvested in arcade games. And that's really, I think that's like around when the PlayStation came out. And they probably got hit a little bit by that. It would be very interesting to go back to 1995 and find out exactly why that happened. I mean, I think that's to indicate that it went below. It was the surfing year. 2004 was almost bad. I'm trying to think what Capcom was releasing in 2004. Is that when Devil May Cry 2 came out? No way. It's a little bit strange because you have to remember, like, sometimes it's like set off. That's like, I think that was like Viewtiful Joe, maybe? Let's go to 2003 and 2004. – 2003 had games such as Breath of Fire, Dragon Quarter, Devil May Cry 2, Clock Tower 3 was okay. Viewtiful Joe. Mega Man Battle Network games came out. Resident Evil Outbreak came out. Resident Evil Dead Aim came out. 2003. The fiscal year is from the year before. So they would be reporting. I mean, it could have been the year after. Like I said, it depends on how they report it. If we go to 2004, oh, it's looking even worse. Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap probably went okay. Way of the Samurai 2. They didn't make that. That was published by Capcom. No, so maybe they did get money for that. Monster Hunter came out. Man, imagine if it just died. Imagine if it just died that year. Full House Kiss came out. That's an Otome game. Year 2005 would be Monster Hunter. I mean, it was soon afterwards that they started releasing, like, Freedom. Freedom would have been huge. Definitely. Freedom would have been a huge boost in sales. Oddly enough, like, what? The Resident Evil movie came out in 2002. I like how 2005, it's like re-released Sengoku Bazura. Yeah, I mean, 2006, I mean, that's when they released Dead Rising. What happened in 2010? Was that Try? Well, 2011, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to look at that scale, right? It's hard. It's the 2004 fiscal year. It's too confusing, man. 2009 was Unite. 2008. So Unite probably really propped up one of these years. And then Try, I mean, when Try came out in Japan, you have to remember, the Wii was popular, but, you know, you had like a newer console. It was very limited. The Village you could play, and there was a good amount to play there, but online was a subscription service. Well, you have to look at Portable Second G. When did Portable Second G release? March 2008. Freedom Unite was like probably like what, 2009, 2010. It took a long time to get it released. Such a weird choice to make Japanese online a subscription service. I think it was the same for Monster Hunter and Monster Hunter DOS. I don't know. Alternate Outfit would probably know. In the Japanese Try servers, can you get 8 people there? Try 1 and DOS all had subscriptions for online, Angie. So DOS didn't? No, NA and EU did not have paid online. It was free. Oh, I'm sorry. I read that wrong. Try 1, DOS, and G all had it. So yeah, all the PlayStation 2 ones. Is there any mentions of Resident Evil RE-verse? Oh my god. What do you think? My belief is that whatever Pragmata is whatever Frankenstein code that exists from deep down. I've seen literally nothing about RE-verse. RE-verse, is that meant to be like competitive? They are talking about esports. I don't think that's part of it. I'm pretty sure Pragmata's like, again, like, so Deep Down was like simulated medieval universe, Devil May Cry and or Dragon's Dogma style combat with like random rewards. And it probably would have had a very early version of like a battle pass or something like that, had it ever come out. They just had worn Ono down so much that mid-development, he left the company and then they just killed the project. This is an interesting list. Think about what Deep Down could have been. You know, you'd love to see it. At least the demo. Maybe someday in like 20 years on Capcom Town, they will give us Deep Down. Maybe someday. I mean, it would be nice to see it, you know, in a museum. Who's this guy supposed to be? Who's floating around on the cloud like that? Is there a Capcom title out there? Is that NES game? Did Capcom do the Dragon Ball game? No, those are all Bandai Namco. Who the hell's floating around on that? Who's flying around on that thing? All right, I really, really, really do not want to date myself. But can I ask a question? Did anyone ever play this game before? Does anyone even recognize this game? It's got Oolong in it. I had this game as a child. Reno did? I don't know if he played that one. This is really funny because, like, even though Dragon Ball was about to be released, like, in the US, they basically censored out any references to this being about Dragon Ball. And it's just like, whatever the hell this guy is supposed to be. Can you imagine if you tried to jump kick somebody like that? You would just immediately fall on your knee and, like, probably break your leg, right? I guess you'd have to, like, try and reposition yourself before you fell, but, like, that just seems, like, really unnecessary. I guess the dragon is supposed to go all the way around and then back up and around like that. But yeah, the arcade business is going back up. Toast made it. That was a Bandai Namco game. Toast might have, like, localized it. I am gonna see if they will allow me to visit the head office when I'm in Japan. I can call them. I'll call them when I'm there. Moshi moshi. I'll just stand outside, call them on stream. I think it's currently 2:30 a.m. over there. Introduce myself as NA champion. I'll just I'll just carry my trophy with me and wear the Capcom jacket. Oh! Here's a quote from Ryozo. All right, let's read it. Capcom is working towards our goal of 10% operating income growth each fiscal year and 100 million units in game sales annually to achieve medium to long-term sustainable growth, though it is no easy task. Till now, Capcom has achieved growth by creating high-quality content and distributing it throughout the globe. Making the most entertaining games in the world continues to be the highest priority for our development divisions. Beyond that, we want to distribute the content we create to as many countries and regions around the world as possible. In order to do so, I believe that cross-divisional coordination is needed more so than ever before. He's talking like a manager. 10% bad? 10% is amazing. $100 million games a year? That's great. Particularly, we must more strongly integrate R&D with our business operations to promote sales measures. I don't really know what that means. I've been engaged in game development for many years as a title producer and as head of Consumer Games Development Division 2. During that time, I've accumulated experience in organization building, IP issues, analysis, global content expansion, our single content, multiple usage strategy. So that's meaning, like, we released Monster Hunter Rise, and then we released an expansion to get more people to buy Monster Hunter Rise, and then to get people that bought Monster Hunter Rise to buy Sunbreak. I've been appointed a director, and while my position has changed, my motivation remains intact. So yeah, he must have gotten promoted to director. He must have not been a director before. I feel that having access to a wide range of management-related information has given me a broader perspective with which to make decisions. The scale of our consumer game development workforce has now grown to over 2,000 people. They can no longer be summed up in a single word: developer. The maxi develop. Instead, we must maximize performance with effective cooperation among the production, technical research, and support divisions. Going forward, I'll utilize my experience to contribute to Capcom's medium to long-term growth. I mean, having him as a director is a really good call. I mean, say what you will about everything, like, the more he's been involved, like, the better things have been. I mean, the fact that he was so involved with World's development was pretty huge. It really doesn't feel like he's involved at all in Rise and Sunbreak. I would like for you to provide the specific use of cash. Oh, they gave employees a 30% raise. Wow. I mean, mind you, that's just like keeping up with inflation to a certain degree, but that's a real raise. Imagine getting a 30% raise. You know, I could represent 0.5% of the voters there. They might have given out one guy an Omega raise. I'm sure there were a couple Omega raises.
Fire Cannon 85 just gifted.
Fire Cannon, thank you. A lot. Glum Bucket, Bake of the Hut, Mistaken Table, Big Smooth, Andy's. Please thank Fire Cannon. You said Microsoft said nobody's getting a raise? Wow. Wow. That's slimy. Bad Microsoft. Tweet says, Microsoft won't have salary increase for full-time employees this year. In an internal memo to employees, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella blames economic conditions and says, we don't take this decision lightly, having considered it over several months. It'd be interesting to read the Microsoft financial statement. That would be a lot more complicated. I don't know. I mean, we're on the precipice of a tech revolution with AI. They should be building up, not pushing people down. I mean, there's going to be people that are going to leave Microsoft if they're not getting a raise. And they're going to be, you know, less equipped to manage whatever the hell is going to happen in the next couple of years. I like how they have like a chart here on like who missed a meeting. And it's like, Toru Muranaka, man, like you missed 2 meetings. People are going to know. Now, we published it now, asshole. Show up next time. Haruhiro Sugimoto missed a meeting. That's the COO. He missed a meeting. Your family's company. You missed it? Yeah, you couldn't. I bet you if you showed up on Zoom, they would have counted you. Oh, sorry, they met 10 times. He missed 1. That's funny. There's some gems in here, aren't there? I could be here someday. Do you think I could be here someday? If I buy enough shares, I could get myself elected to the board. Someday. I don't know if I want to be on the board, but it may be kind of cool. Some of these guys don't have shares. Like there's a chart out there that shows how many shares all the directors have. The only little white guy on the list? Who you calling little? They said they want to increase diversity. An internet clown? I have a master's in economics. Like I'm not a complete clown. Wait. What is this statement? In recent years, Marijuana abuse has been increasing among juveniles in Osaka. To address the problem, the Osaka Prefectural Police have been searching for a high-impact public relations content that has a high deterrent effect. Capcom showed understanding of the intent behind our efforts and created an attention-grabbing original poster for us using Capcoms from the Great Ace Attorney. The poster was picked up and covered by the media and received a big response from the public. We believe that it served as a warning to the community and was highly effective in preventing marijuana abuse among juveniles. We're deeply grateful to Capcom. We look forward to continuing support for happy and healthy development of youth who lead Osaka in the future. I want to find this poster. Oh, this is it. I saw that somewhere. Okay. Hold on. Let's try and do a real-time translation. Oh, I can't see it. Oh, I can't read it. That must be like marijuana. No. Anata no. God, I need a higher resolution. I can't read the furigana. It's like all blurry, man. Would that stop you from smoking marijuana if, like, the Great Ace Attorney told you? If it were Phoenix Wright, I might say no, but I don't care about that guy. I need Phoenix Wright telling me not to smoke it. This guy, I don't care. I'm gonna smoke it while playing that game. Now I have to smoke it while playing this game. I imagine, like, the most delinquent youth on the streets of Osaka rips a poster down and rolls the fattest joint imaginable and smokes it out of the poster. Paper would taste awful? It would taste awful. But that's the only way. Yeah, I'm not going to be allowed in Japan now. Stop Japanese children smoking weed. Thank you. Oh yeah, that's much better. Here we go. Daima Ranyo. Daima Ranyo? Hai Maga Ubau Anata no Mirai. Mirai. Is Mirai no? Cannabis. Oh yeah, Mirai is future. That's funny. Is Taima marijuana? Taima ga... Is that Uba? Taima ga Uba. So that must be like steel, right? Taima ga Uba Anata no Mirai. Oh, that's funny. Okay. Ubau. We will steal your future if you use cannabis. I mean, the state of the Japanese word is, I think, implied. Ugh. Oh, there we go. All right, so there's the poster. Is this what we were on before? Yeah, now I'm all mixed up. Oh, here we go. Okay, yeah, that was the guy. Our corporate philosophy of making people happy. I mean, they have had a number of events at USJ, which is in Osaka. I think it was on the Mission and Vision Pyramid, yeah. It's got to be tough doing any event with like a volleyball league, because like, unless like you're 6'5", you're always gonna look so tiny. So you got all these like volleyball guys around you. That's got to be tough. Don't blame him, okay? He's a normal size. It's just, volleyball, they got to be tall. Oh, they gave money to children and a bunch of money to Ukraine. Single Mothers Forum, Fund Support Children's Future, Child Support Nuku? Helping poverty? I mean, how much was that? That's about like $2 million? Right. I mean, it technically went to the UN. It didn't even go directly to Ukraine, but I'm sure it went mostly to Ukrainians. This was a big deal. I don't know if you guys remember a couple years ago, there was like a big data breach. Somebody left like an old router. This is my characterization of it. This is not the truth. But like, I imagine in the NA office, somebody had like a 2002 Netgear router with like a public facing Wi-Fi address plugged into a janitor's closet. And somebody got in and they took all sorts of information. I wonder if them saying they've stopped tours implies that they plan on doing the tours again. Oh my God. That man is wearing a Palico hat and guiding people through the arcade. Yeah, I mean, I just don't know how I feel about pachinko and patchy slots, Like, that's a part of their business. Like, I guess, where do you stop the fun from people that are seriously addicted? I'm not a big fan of gambling. What? Hold on. In-game purchases. The Japanese game market discussions have been taking place for some time on the problem of gacha, or high-priced lottery-style game mechanics, primarily in mobile games. Gacha-like loot boxes have been banned in some countries. As a creator of entertainment culture, Capcom believes that games should be enjoyed for the entertainment value they provide with gameplay, not for thrills associated with winning a lottery. Says the internet clown that regularly features gambling games on his channel. It's not actual gambling! It's close, though. We do not want to see games that are supposed to make people happy having the opposite effect as a result of excessive charges. For that reason, we are working to ensure that all users can enjoy our games fairly and safely. In principle, we minimize gacha elements in the mobile games we develop. Is that, well... I'm trying to think about Teppen. In our home video games, we provide any content required to enjoy the full game free of charge, while offering some additional content at low cost. Really? But really, though? Hold on a second. What is this list? Here we go. Can I even? How do you even? Like, you can't. Like, you can't even. This is insane. It is all optional. But is that better than gacha? There's not any, I don't even think there was an add all to cart button. It, like, there's so much, it's broken. At least it's not random? I don't know. Have I seen the RE4 remake DLC? Nope. It's better than gacha in that you don't need to spend an infinite amount of money to pull the one thing you want. It's not infinite because of pity, but I mean, if you want to max everything in the game from a power curve level, it's like probably like $2,000 a month. It's something like that. I mean, you would need to pull, what is it? Is it 80 times for a guaranteed, or is it 90 times for a guaranteed in Genshin? Well, pity is 50-50 for the first one, and then guaranteed on the next one. 90. So if you wanted to always get a max limited banner character, that is what? 180 times 7? Times 160. 201,000 gems? How much do you think that costs? I mean, that's the most expensive way to do it. I'm trying to look at this here. Oh, that's so annoying. Honkai Star Roll has it after 300. You can pick the 5-star you want. Like, no matter, so you get like an extra pull after 300. It's like every 300 pulls, you get a guaranteed of the one that you want to get. It's kind of neat. I'm trying to log in. Keep saying my account's not right. Pretty sure that's right. I hate this little game it makes you play whenever you want to log in. So $100 gets you 6,480. So yeah, $3,000. Again, that's like the worst case scenario, and you would never actually end up. There's a bonus, isn't it? The first time. I'm just saying, like, if you're the most degenerate person in the world that requires a full 6-star pull of just the main character, I'm not even counting the weapon, the worst case scenario is like $3,000. I'm not including the weapon banner. 880 per 100? I don't know. I just went into the website. It said 8,680. I don't know if it's cheaper. 6,480. Oh, wait, was that the right website? I think maybe that was Genshin. Weapon banners where the MiHoYo gets the real wells, like, because you're not going to guarantee. The staff of homelessness. I mean, there are some like very large content creators that do gacha content and like they get like the 6-star stuff and all that. But I mean, I don't know. Like that's even still like you worry because like I mean you got to be spending like $6,000 a month on the video game. Which I mean, you know, if you're really large, if you're averaging 1,000+ viewers, I mean, you'll probably get that, but I mean, I don't know. All the VTubers are lucklets to get boosted raid accounts. I am not that. I was that on Nikkei. I'm not that anymore. Tax write-off? Well, sure. I mean, yeah, it's a tax write-off, but like, who cares? We still just spend the money. You still got to make the money to spend the money. Capcom, we encourage employees to live within 5 kilometers of the place and commute by bike. That's so cool. They give you childcare. Man, I almost want to work at Capcom. I mean, I'm very happy being an internet clown. Paid leave promotion days. So they give people a long holiday during New Year's, and then they give them a long holiday during Golden Week. I'm sure, though, it's pretty... They require a lot of working hours. I'm sure it's at least 50 to 60 hours a week. Well, it's a good company. I could feel good about investing my money in Capcom. That's pretty interesting. Look at that thing. Imagine if you let this thing scan you as you showed whole. You don't mind DLC, but you hate season passes? Depends on how much a chore the season pass is. Hey, there's Pragmata down in the corner. Do you see that? That's her. They haven't forgotten. It's not dead. The season pass in Honkai Star Rail is 100% like a daily time suck, but it's not. At least it's only like 5 minutes. Oh, look at that! Oh, baby! Total shareholder return. Capcom at 572%. Square Enix at 184%. Okay, hold on. Earlier, somebody was like, invest in From Software. But Bandai Namco, I think, do they own From Software? They're at 300%. That's that Elden Ring money. Capcom beat Elden Ring money. I mean, for real, any one of them. I mean, even Square Enix is like not a bad return on investment. I need to get my shares up. Aiming for 100 million unit sales volume. How cracked are they, man? If I put my life savings in it, would it 5 times 5.7x? I'm not sure what time frame it's talking about. I mean, I think if you had invested in 1991, by now it would be up 600%. Probably more. Between then and 2022. So in 20 years, it's up 600%. So 10,000 would have become 60,000. Something like that. Close enough. But I don't know if that's just the dividends. That might just be dividend payouts from then. They gave a huge commemorative dividend in 1997. What the hell happened in 1997? Was that Resident Evil 2? 53 yen dividend. Crazy. He's got a winery. You can visit it. You guys want to see his winery? It's not in Japan. It's in Florida. Or no, it's in Florida. It's in California. It does look very nice. Guy loves his wine. All right, we got we're gonna play some video games today. The guys over at Warframe are doing a giveaway. They're giving me platinum to give to you. So that's pretty nice of them. There's no way Mega Man allowed them to give that much money away. I don't believe it. You missed the quarterly review?
Subscribed for 21 months. Damn, I missed the
It was a pretty good VOD. I might actually upload parts of it to my channel. We'll see. Go away. Thank you. Can't join the streams because of Trapple? I understand. Or...